How you all doing, guys? So what's today's episode about then? Well, to be classed as a camper van, and before we can start saying this is where the magic happens, we need to make a bed. And the first part of the bed we need to make is the bed frame. I know my bed layout is going to be different to pretty much everyone. Well, I have seen a few actually widthways, but obviously they don't have the pods. But the majority, they either have the rock and roll bed or they have like a pull out one at the side there or whatever. But pretty much everyone constructs them out of wood, so like 4x2 or whatever. I don't want to do that, and the main reason, 4x2, you know, it's not 4x2 they use, it's more like 2x2 in it. But it's 2 inches thick. So I'm planning on this area here to have all kinds of drawers pulling out. So obviously if I used 2x2 timber, it would be approaching into the area that I want to use for storage. So in order to maximize the amount of area I've got for storage, therefore I'd use something smaller as the bed frame. So what can I use that is smaller than 2x2 but is just as strong? Well, then you'd have to look into your the extruded aluminium that you can bolt together. I think that's quite costly. Or you can use steel box tubing. Well, it just so happens that when I've mentioned this before, I had a spare van parked outside. Well, that had a spare roof rack on it, which is this one by here. So what I'm thinking, I've already cut one off there. You got round bar in the middle, and we got square bar on the sides. So I'm thinking, if I make a bed frame out of this square bar, because that's only about, I don't know, about 1/2 inch diameter, might be a little bit bigger, then that's going to give me much more room for storage underneath with my drawers that pull out and everything. So if I make a piece that can bolt to the frame of the vehicle there, and same on the other side, and then have about 3 bars that connect either side. So first thing I gotta do is separate the square bar from the round bar. So that's what I'm left with after I've cut out the round bar. Now obviously I don't need these pokey up bits. I don't need what's remaining of the round bar there, and I don't need these legs as well. They unbolt, so that's fine. So I can just remove them and then cut all these off. I'm going to leave these bits on for the moment because they might be good for bolting them to the sides of the inner quarters. First job, I need a frame bolted to the internal panel there, going across here, and obviously one that side. I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. Roughly inches lines up with it best at about 45 inches there, and then I can make the slats on the top overhang a bit if I need to. Yeah, 45. Obviously where I cut off all the lugs and stuff that were suitable for the roof rack, I need to now tidy them up so they're nice and flush. And then these parts, I'm going to utilize these to give it an extra mounting point, strengthen it up more. But that much of it is in the way because there's recesses and stuff on the internal panel there, so that is actually stopping this part from sitting flush. I've got them all trimmed up and got all the bits that I didn't want on there ground off now, so they're all nice and smooth. So now the next bit is to work out where they're going on there. So I've lined up where there's already holes in here. I've utilised that hole to line up with a hole that's on here. Unfortunately, no other holes line up at all. So I'm going to drill a hole in the centre of both of these, and then a hole out the other side of this one and that one. I've marked off the diameter of this square bar off of there, because obviously that's where the supporting bar will be welded. And then I've come in a bit further then, and I'm going to drill a hole there and out the back. Position that on there, mark where all the holes are onto that internal panel, drill those holes, and then I should be able to bolt this one onto there. I'm thinking about it now, I'm probably going to have to take this insulation out. It's probably going to be in the way. I should have done the bed frame before the insulation, but oh well. And then when it comes to this one, I'll probably drill all the holes in this bar, the same as that one. But I'm not going to drill the holes into the internal panel there until the frame is welded up, because the likelihood of me getting that in exactly the same spot as that is, well, it ain't gonna happen, is it? What I'll do, just to get the perfect measurements of the supporting bars, once that one's bolted in, I'll clamp that one onto this side to get the measurement. Hopefully that makes sense. There we go. Drilled all of them now. Bigger hole on this side in order to get the head of the bolt through, and then there, and then on the other side just small enough, well, just big enough to get the thread of it through. I probably have to use Allen key headed bolts, just because I can't make the hole any bigger really. So now we got to offer it up to that, and then get a pencil and mark it on the internal panel of the van where these holes line up, so I can drill holes in the van. Right. Henry's going to help me with this, so catch metal filings. Hole punch them first. And then make the holes big enough. Got that clamped in place now. There's because like I said, if I drill the holes, it ain't gonna line up. So now we gotta measure from left to right. So we can cut the left to right bars. I make that 162 there. 164. What's in the middle then? It's 163. So 162, 163, 164. If I'm just going for 3 bars. Got them all cut up. 162 centimeters, 163 and 164. And like the other two, any bits that were remaining from the roof rack assembly, they've all been ground down and cleaned up now. Right, so I thought I'd better do this as a voiceover because Luke is in the background working on another vehicle and he's being noisy with the tools. So what I'm doing here is just checking that I've cut all 3 lengths to the right size so that they fit up against the side mounts. And the next thing to do, obviously, because we got to weld it, you can't weld to galvanized steel, so you have to grind off the galvanized coating and bring it back to bare metal. So every area that is going to get welded to each other, I've just ground off the galvanized coating with the belt sander, so it's all nice and clean, ready for welding. So there it is, lined up on the floor, how it's meant to be, ready for Luke to tack it up. Before Luke fully welds it up, we thought we'd best test fit it in the van with it just being tacked up, because obviously when you weld, things expand and contract and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that it hadn't distorted in any way, and it's still fitted in the van. So we just test fitted it inside and all was good, so now Luke can fully weld it up. So the next thing I want to do is just give the welds a wire wheel, because the welding process actually creates moisture. Don't ask me how it does, but it's all scientific. Yes, science! So you're on a wire wheel that to clean them all up so they don't start rusting where the welds are. If there's any blobs on here, I can see 1 or 2, just gonna belt sand them down. The rest of it is galvanized, but obviously we've ground off and cut off lugs and stuff, and we've had to bare the metal where we've welded it. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm just going to run a red scotch over the entire thing and stick a bit of zinc primer on the bare metal areas, and then give the rest of it just an aerosol matte black, just so it looks all an even colour, and well, doesn't look like that basically, just matte black, it'll look nice and tidier in the van. Now to just get some primer on the bare metal and then coat it all with matte black then. do my things, if where the frame is on the trestles there, I can just screw it them in once it's bolted in the van. One coat will do. So yeah, we just let that dry now, and then next thing to do will be to put it in the van. Let's get this in there. I should probably wait for help here, but you know what I'm like.
A few moments later.
I've test fitted this once. How do I get it in?
1 hour later. 2,000 years later.
Maybe I've got it round the wrong way. Is that a possibility? I'm going fucking holes out, have I? Dumbass. Alright, I'm going to bolt this side in, because obviously we haven't drilled the holes on that side yet. That went better. Just leave that there rather than cart it out again. Limbo! So I got the frame in and it's just resting on a couple of bolts now. So next step is to get all the bolts in and then obviously tighten them up with some nuts on the back. And the hardware that I've chosen for this is I've gone for an Allen key style bolt. It's either M8 or M10, I don't know what it is. And the reason I've chosen the Allen key one is because the tool to put them in with is obviously smaller than the head of the bolt, and because of the holes that are in the frame, if I was to use like your normal hex bolt, you'd have to then bolt it in with a socket, and the socket is then bigger than the head, so then the hole would have to be even bigger, and well, it can't be. So that's where I've gone for an Allen key one. So they're perfect for that, and you know, they're nice and beefy bolts that will stand up to the weight. 6 of them either side, and then on the back of them I've chosen spring washers to counteract any vibrations that will occur from the van driving along, because I don't want it coming loose. And then just a appropriate sized nut on the back. I think it's a 12mm nut, and I've chosen all ones that have got a little washer built onto them as well. So yeah, next step is just to work my way around tightening them all up and making sure there's a bolt in every hole. And there we go, we have a bed frame. All bolted in now. Six bolts either side, 12 in total. I did have to, in that corner there and in this corner, put some spacers behind it, in between the bed frame and the body of the van, because there's gaps in both those corners due to these plates and the shape of the van. So I didn't want to just tighten it up and then risk splitting welds or pulling the body of the van in too far, so just put some spacers in there to take up the slack. Unfortunately, it's not strong enough to lie on yet, because one, where I've bolted the frame onto the van, that part of the van isn't very strong at all, so it is flexing a lot, and obviously we've only got 3 bars, but I just wanted to keep it light and not go overkill with the bars. And the way that I'm going to make it stronger is, like I said, I'm going to have drawer sliders coming out of the back. To mount the drawer sliders on, you need uprights. So there's going to be a sheet of 12mm ply running down the center here, from this bar to that bar, and then there'll be ones either end as well, so the drawer sliders have sides to them. That'll give it 3 legs made out of 12mm ply going vertical then, so that'll give it its strength then. So yeah, until then, no lying on it. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Should stiffen the van up, take corners like it's on rails now. Just joking. Just wanted to talk you through why I've put the bed at this actual height. One, it just lines up nicely with this swage line that's on here actually. But the main reason, I could have put it up a little bit higher to maximise the space underneath more. But then, although it would have been comfortable to sleep up there, it would have been a bit of a pain in the ass to get in and out of it. So I thought, bring it back down a little bit. Doesn't really take away too much storage space, but at least then it gives you a nice ample amount of space to get in and out of comfortably. So what I'll do, once the slats are on top of this, so they'll be 12mm, so that'll bring it up to about there. and then I'll have either about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches thick foam to make a mattress from. So the mattress will be up to about that level, and then this area, then I will box this off to make like a right angle kind of shape, and then on top of that bit that goes into there, I'll put something like 1 inch foam on it, and then upholster it, so then that's nice and squidgy, and then that'll be where your pillow or your feet is. So none of this will get seen, and it won't be, you won't feel it, it won't be uncomfortable or anything like that, because everything will be retrimmed in the same cloth as what I put on the door cards. So that's my bed. Hope you like the whole process of putting that in. Can't do much more on it for now. So thank you very much for watching and continuing to watch my channel. Make sure you click on the subscribe button and check out the Instagram. And if you've got any questions on anything to do with the bed, whether it be what I've done today or what I still need to do to it, then drop them in the comments and I'll answer them at the end of the next video. And I will catch you next Sunday for the next installment. Thought I was gonna say catch you in the next one then, didn't you? Well, I thought I'd change it up a bit.